I'm Dr. Lindsay Coble.
Dr. Noelle Crosby, and we're the Sound Sisters, and this is the Hearing Diaries.
Welcome back to the Sound Sisters, the Hearing Diaries. Today we are excited to welcome Audrey Gaskill, an audiology student who's getting ready to graduate and already showing what it looks like to get involved, share your journey, and build community. We're going to talk about what's exciting about audiology, what specialties are catching the attention of the soon-to-be grads, how to put yourself out there, and why she chose to build a social presence even before graduating. All right, Audrey, welcome, and let's jump into our first question.
Thank you.
For listeners
So,
who don't know you yet, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got into audiology.
Yeah. So hi everybody, I'm Audrey. I am currently a fourth year Doctor of Audiology student from Ball State University, and I am completing my externship in Sarasota. I was born and raised in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and my parents moved us to Fort Lauderdale in 2015. So I've been down here for a little bit. I consider myself a Florida girl now. I've been here for almost 11 years. It'll be 11 years in August.
not
I went to,
quite, but you're getting there.
I'm getting there slowly but surely. I know.
Doesn't take much to switch from Fort Wayne to a Florida girl. And
Yeah.
by the
No,
day, I call
no.
myself a Florida
Yeah.
girl.
Yes. My mom was originally from Miami, so that's kind of how
Well, there you
we
go.
ended
Yeah.
up back down here. I went to the University of South Florida in Tampa for my undergrad, and I got it in communication sciences and disorders. And I graduated in 2022. Go Bulls! I love that place.
Yep. Mhm.
Um, and then it wasn't my intentions, but it just worked out. I went back to Indiana to pursue my doctorate and loved my program, love everything, all the people I've met, and all the amazing preceptors I had. But the Midwest and I are not made for each other anymore. And so that's why I came down here.
Ah, and so let's talk about what first drew you to audiology. Did you know right away you wanted to be an audiologist? Let's hear your origin story.
Yeah, so I didn't want to initially. I remember as a kid, I wanted to be a meteorologist. And
Ooh.
then,
Well, it ends
um,
with ologist, so
yeah,
It's
it
close.
did. It did. And then I realized that I hated tornadoes and I hated the
Mm.
fact that I might have to tell people there's a tornado coming calmly while I was internally panicking.
funny.
So, up in the Midwest, like that's the thing.
Hmm.
So I decided to go away from that. I kind of teetered around being a teacher for a while. But then ultimately, my mom was a substitute teacher, so that's kind of how like that
Hmm.
came about. But where it all began really in December of 2007, my little brother was born with spina bifida, hydrocephalus, and a multitude of other intellectual and physical disabilities. And while he was in the NICU at Riley Children's Hospital, he developed hyperbilirubinemia anemia, which resulted in him being diagnosed with auditory neuropathy. And then
Wow, Audrey, I
I
didn't know that.
yeah, so I threw in there for those that may not be familiar with ANSD. It's a hearing condition caused by damage to the inner ear or the auditory nerve, and it disrupts the signal between the ear and the brain. So you might see that they might hear well, but they actually aren't processing the sound.
Hmm.
Um, so he got a cochlear implant on his left side after he was in hearing aids. And I can't remember how old he was. I want to say he was maybe 2 or 3. I can't remember how old he was exactly. At that point, he had had like 15 surgeries already. So it was like built into all the other things. Um, he unfortunately is not the best cochlear implant story. He had so much trauma to his head when he was born with the hydrocephalus that he's got really profound sensory issues. So he won't wear glasses, hats. Keeping any of that on him is like nearly impossible. So the CI was just too much for him. He is in a wheelchair, so and he has a headrest, and he would just knock like the implant off all the time. We tried
Yeah.
everything, headbands, clips, the whole 9 yards. So little different kind of story with him, but he's nonverbal and not able to walk, but he does make some sounds and he has an eye gaze, so which is good. but his story definitely like put me into that audiology land.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to a couple of his appointments and I was like, wow, this is like really cool, even though my brother's not like your typical case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just thought it was really interesting. So then, freshman year of high school, careers class, I decided you had to pick a career to present on at the end of the semester. And I was like, audiology, I'll do that. And it's kind of ever since I've wanted to be an audiologist since I was a freshman in
What
high
a
Well,
good
that's
school.
pretty
story.
early
Yeah,
So,
on.
that is
yeah,
early.
yeah,
Yeah, most
Yeah.
of
yeah.
us don't make that decision until we're in our program.
Yeah.
Right, right. I
Most
know.
people
And
stumbled there from
Yeah.
speech. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that's typically what I see too is like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people they know speech because that's just, seems to be more
More
prominent these
common.
days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas audiology is not so much. But because I had a personal experience with
Yeah.
it, that's kind of how like I got into it. And
Mm.
so just being able to help people like engage, with their friends and family, regardless of age, like I
Mm-hmm.
was like, that is really cool. So yeah,
Yeah, well,
that's
I
where it
just have
So
began.
a
cool.
question regarding that story that you just
Yeah,
told us. Jumping off the subject for just a minute.
yeah.
So, would he have been expected to do well with a cochlear implant with auditory neuropathy?
So I, yes and no. There's a lot of research now that does show that kids with ANSD do fairly well
Mm-hmm.
with
Okay.
implants if they're implanted early enough and they get the access to language. He was just a special case
Yeah.
because he had so many other things going on. And, if you ask my mom, part of her like regrets it a little bit, maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, she would have never known if we
She
hadn't
didn't try.
done
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she is thankful that she decided not to bilaterally implant. He has
Mm-hmm.
a shunt on the other side for the hydrocephalus, so it was going to be too crowded to do two anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But she is thankful that she
Yeah.
didn't do that. So
Mm-hmm.
um, he does have like some awareness. We think it's more vibrotactile. So
Right.
if we take him to like a football game or a baseball game or a hockey game, it the vibrations of how loud it is
Mm-hmm.
actually triggers a gag reflex
Oh,
in him.
so interesting.
It's very interesting. It's like a sensory kind of
Response of
scenario.
some sort.
Yeah,
Interesting.
response.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, but the problem is he won't wear any earmuffs or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. So he's, like I said, he's a mixed bag. But God, we love him the way he is. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I do know there's quite a bit of research about the ANSD. It kind of goes, it depends on the kid, truthfully. So
Yeah. That makes sense.
Well, what a neat connection for you to kind of have a soft spot in
yeah,
your heart for the career. Let's talk
yeah,
about you're
yeah.
getting ready to graduate. The end is near. The end is near.
Yes,
What is
yes. The end is
exciting you?
near.
What is exciting you most about your career or the field of audiology with
Mhm.
what you see right now?
Yeah, I think the most exciting thing is just to be able to say that I've made it. I did it. Just
A big
because
accomplishment.
Yeah.
that I've been wanting to do this for so long.
Mhm.
The mere fact that it's happened and it's happening is crazy. Like, I remember like grad school, I got into grad school and I was like, okay, like this is it. And then it just flew by. And I think I
Mhm.
really didn't have the idea of like how quickly time flies
Yeah.
until recently.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like I got the email the other day to apply to graduate and like order my cap and gown. And I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. Like Michael Scott in When the Fire Alarm Goes Off. Like that is exactly how I was feeling. So I think the biggest thing is just like I made it through school. I made it through the hard days. I still
Mhm.
have hard days ahead. Like I know that, things are not always going to be perfect because that's just not the world we live in.
Mhm.
And I think, by any means, I'm just excited to be an audiologist and
Mhm.
like help everyone hear better and kind of re-engage with life. I think that's the biggest thing now is that our lives are so social and like without that ability to really hear and connect with people it can really cause, some social isolation, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
last thing that anyone needs. So I
Mm-hmm.
think if I can just do that, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The other aspect of it is like the technology and the appeal of hearing technology
Mm-hmm.
has really changed for the better. I feel like more individuals are coming in sooner, and there's more research being done. And I
Mm-hmm.
always say I'm so grateful for the audiologists that are researchers, who are working diligently to provide us all with those tools and resources. I think that's like the biggest thing that I forget about sometimes. Like at the end of the day, yes, I'm doing diagnostics, I'm fitting hearing aids using rail air and like doing all of these things. But at the end of the day, I'm not the one conducting the research to get us there.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I can play part in it, but there are people out there doing that. And I just so grateful for them. I did undergraduate and graduate research. So I understand it wasn't my passion to go beyond, but
Mm-hmm.
it's really nice. So that's really exciting. I think what excites me most. So
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
neat.
Well, and from your perspective, what specialty areas of audiology seem especially interesting to you, but as well, like just in the students coming up, what are they all thinking
Yeah.
about they want audiology to be in this day and age?
Yeah, I think it depends on the person and like where they're going to school, what experiences they're having. Um, I think it's cool and nice that audiology has so many areas and
Mm-hmm.
specialties to
Yeah,
kind of choose from, right?
you can do a
Um,
lot of
I
different
think it
things.
just Yeah, it just comes down to each student's experiences and preferences. Like, I know students that they don't want pediatrics, they don't want to do pediatrics, and that's okay. Like, that's what they want to do. My program doesn't do like specific on campus rotations where like we have a peds rotation and then like an adults. Ours are
Mm-hmm.
mixed in. So we might have an ABR on our schedule and then a hearing aid check and then a hearing test.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice. I like that, because it gave me variety in my day. Um, so I think it just really depends. I know former students who are audiologists now that never would have thought that they would be in the role they are today,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's, manufacturer, educational audiology, those kinds of things. So I think it's cool that we can kind of, okay, maybe start somewhere. Say somebody wants to do pediatrics for their externship and they do it. And they're like, yeah, that was good. But now this other opportunity has presented itself and like I think I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that's the biggest thing. And especially with my program, I wanted to be in everything. I wanted to do everything. And so I made the choice. I didn't get a lot of ENT experience when I was up at Ball State. That's just not the placements I got.
Mm-hmm.
So during my second year for my 4 week placement, I came to Tampa and I did an ENT
Mm-hmm.
rotation. And so it was nice because then I got a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was at Riley Children's Hospital, for one of my last rotations. And that was really cool. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
never would have thought that I would be able to do that.
Right.
And when it came to externship time, it made it a little challenging, but also a little easier because I kind of was like, okay, I can kind of free for all apply to what I want to,
Mm-hmm.
because I like a little bit of everything. And that's kind of how that went.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's really cool, and a lot of students feel that way. Like different specialties are good. So
There's life beyond the hearing widget.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because it is. There's so many people that I talk to, and they just think, you know, hearing aids. Like when I say audiology, they think hearing aids, but that's not true. We're
Right.
so much more than that. We're diagnostics, we're, yes, treatment. There's tinnitus treatment. Like people don't always think about that. Vestibular, educational audiology. Like there are so many manufacturers. Like there's so many different things that, a lot of the general public doesn't really realize. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, which
True.
makes sense, but it's a-okay. That's what I try to use my platform for, to kind of share, there's so much more than just hearing
Mm-hmm.
aids. So,
Let's shift about how you got involved as a student. So you got involved very early on, put yourself out there to get to know people. We'll get to social media in a second. But I
Mhm.
think, what recommendations would you give current students or soon to be grads who want to get involved? Where do they start? What groups do
Yeah.
they join?
Yeah. So I knew I've always been involved in things,
Hmm.
just from a young age. I was a Girl Scout for 7 years. I don't know if that played into it, but maybe it did.
Probably, yeah.
Probably a little bit.
Would I have to run
I
away from you when it was time to sell the cookies?
Well, listen, I sold the cookies when they were $2 a box
Yeah.
still, and now they're
I did
six
not run
dollars, I
away.
think.
I ran
Yeah,
towards. I ran towards
yeah,
You
someone.
run towards
exactly.
it.
Yes, exactly. So, but the biggest thing I would say is just simply being yourself. And I know everyone says that, but it is so true. Um, Anytime I even thought about like changing something up in my personality or look or anything for that matter, like I always thought about, okay, is this me? Does this mesh with me?
Hmm.
Um, and if it didn't, it felt wrong to do. And so, I am an extroverted introvert, and yes, that is possible. I did look it
My
up.
daughter's that too.
Yeah, it just means like I have the strong social skills, and I am outgoing
I
in
would
social
never know that about
gatherings.
you, though.
I know, right? I know. But at the end of the day, I do desire like my alone time, and I do
Hmm.
need to recharge. And so I think that's a big thing going into making connections, right? Making sure you have yourself together, like you feel together. Going into whatever it is, a conference, a meeting, even meeting like your new cohort in grad
Hmm.
school. Like, just be yourself and remember, like, at the end of the day, we're all human and we desire human connection.
Hmm.
Like, whether somebody's a hardcore introvert or a hardcore extrovert, we all crave a little bit of
Hmm.
kind of
Friendship
connection with
and
each
connection.
other,
Yeah.
friendship, yeah.
Hmm.
And also, we are a small field. Everyone knows everybody at the end of the day. And so, and I really reiterated this to the classes below me. I
Hmm.
was like, you guys were around each other 24/7 pretty much in grad programs. And I
Hmm.
know it can be a lot sometimes. It definitely can. It could test some waters a little bit. But at the end of the day, especially if you stay in the state that you're going to
Hmm.
school in, you are going to see each other at conferences.
Hmm.
With so why not just go ahead and make the connection with each other now? It's a small thing, just saying hello.
Hmm.
That's as simple as it gets.
Hmm.
I always look to like especially at a conference, if there's people coming, like for instance, Lindsay, like I didn't know you personally, but
Hmm.
when I was in SAA, I
Yeah.
obviously I followed you and everything like that. And I made the connection and was like, I love that you do this. I really enjoy doing that. Finding a commonality
Hmm.
between each other can start the conversation, or even just, I love your shoes.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite to go off of, like something about them or something that's common. Like
Hmm.
that is always the easiest thing for me to kind of start the conversation with. And that's where you kind of develop those deeper relationships and deeper connections, like
Hmm.
moving forward. So it can be overwhelming. I know that. Like, I'm still, at the end of the day, I still get a little shy, a little stage fright. Oddly enough, doesn't seem that
Hmm.
way, but I do. But I always just think we need human connection, and let me
Hmm.
just, even if it's complimenting somebody to make
Yeah.
their
Hmm.
day, like
Hmm.
that's perfect. So that's my
Yeah.
biggest
Well,
piece.
then
Yeah.
that kind of answered my question I was going to ask you about for someone who feels shy or insecure, what's
Yeah.
one small step they could do? They could
Hmm.
Yeah.
compliment somebody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know it took me, I love to listen to you and hear your strategies and just watch and be around you because you are so comfortable and you make other people feel comfortable. And
And
when I was your age, I was not like that at all. I was very
yeah.
shy and Yeah, it
Yeah.
took me a long
It
time. So it's great to see a younger person feeling like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it took a lot, I will say. It did take a lot in me. I used to be very, very shy, oddly enough. It wasn't really until I moved to Florida that I really got out of my shell. I think I was just exposed to so much more. I
Right.
did my freshman year of high school in Indiana, and then I moved
And
because I
sometimes
have
moving to a new school can do
yeah,
that
Mhm.
too.
yeah. So my sister's a year younger than me, so they let her finish middle school. And so
Mhm.
then she started, but then I had to jump in with already like a
Mhm.
established group. And I went to a school with 4,400 kids.
Oh my gosh, huge.
My
Mhm.
graduating class, I was 64 out of 870 people, like, which is insane when I tell
Mhm.
people that. But that's how South Florida
Mhm.
is. There's a lot of us, and I got to see so many different people and meet different people. And I think that's really what like pushed me to get
Mhm.
out of my like comfort zone.
Mhm.
And I always just gave myself a chance. Like whether or not I was friends with the person after, it didn't matter. At least I like put myself in an
Mhm.
uncomfortable position to, whether it was to make a connection or even just to make a friend. Like
Mhm.
that's what my biggest piece was. And definitely it took a while, but
I
I
feel like
got there one way or
I saw
another.
something online recently about like it was kind of about like going to a conference or like when you're nervous
Yeah,
about meeting people and it's like the person on the other side, they don't care. Like you're so
yeah,
wrapped up in what they think about you,
yeah,
Yeah.
but they actually don't care. And so it's
yeah,
like start recognizing that the person you're
right.
talking to doesn't care. They
They
probably just want to
and
be
they may,
friendly and have a conversation
yeah,
too, and you're
Yeah.
and they might be
self-conscious in your
nervous
own head.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they might be
Exactly.
nervous too. Yeah.
They might be nervous too, and they're like, okay, two nervous people matched together, perfect.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great. Like
yeah.
I was just saying, give yourself a chance. Give
Mhm,
yourself a chance to just say hello.
mhm,
Even at that, that is good.
mhm.
It takes a lot though. It does. So I do understand the students that are students or even professionals that are not there. And that's
Yeah.
okay. No one
Mhm,
expects you to be this outgoing, confident person on
mhm,
all the time. Like
mhm.
that, it takes a lot of work.
Well, and
So,
I think you find like people in our
yeah,
industry. Even a
yeah,
student can find a like-minded professional within the
yes,
industry.
absolutely,
Let's
absolutely.
talk about social media for a second.
Yeah,
So you dove into social media with your Instagram page is really what I followed
yes,
most. What
yes,
motivated that, and when did you start it? How did you start it?
yeah. So honestly, one of my best friends works in social media. And so throughout undergrad, we were always kind of learning and trying new things of posting and who we wanted to brand ourselves to be,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And love doing it. Super good. She is so talented. She works for Michael's craft store now, for
Oh,
their
cool.
social
Mm-hmm.
media, and she's amazing. I adore her. But I knew at the end of the day, like I was gonna be a healthcare provider and not a social media influencer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I put that side of me away. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had a public Instagram account. I switched myself to private, like all these things. And then it wasn't until I think I was like second semester of first year, I want to say. Yeah, it was like February time, um, during grad school. And I was like, I started seeing these healthcare providers
Yeah.
posting. The biggest one that comes to mind is Dr. Betsy, the
Oh,
neurosurgeon.
yeah. I
Um,
love her. Mm-hmm.
her videos started popping up, and then I started seeing like other students share students' posts,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wait, that's a great idea to incorporate what I'm doing right
Mm-hmm.
now. And so thus I think I posted on like my private Snapchat story, and I was like, guys, do you think I should make like an audiology Instagram? And I got a ton of votes for yes. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, perfect, I'm gonna do it.
Here we
Like
go.
whatever. It's gonna be fun little nothing of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um And so I started it and I was really diligent about posting and like ensuring what I posted was informative but also real.
Mm-hmm.
In the last year or so, I've not been so good about
Life.
posting. I
Life.
Been a
literally,
busy
I
girl.
know it is, and I have former classmates that are like commenting on old posts and they're like, bring her
Oh,
back. And I'm like,
so funny.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm
Mm-hmm. I
trying.
got tired. I got
It,
tired.
extern year
Uh-huh.
is exhausting to say the least, but I love it. I'm loving every second. Um so but I do share on my story. Like I will share other people's posts quite a bit. Like I do that to at least get the information out
Mm-hmm.
there. So that's one goal of mine after I graduate is really try to dedicate a little bit of time, but there's just not enough time in the day sometimes, and I've slowly realized that.
Yeah.
Um, so it's important to realize that like it does take work if
Mm-hmm.
you are looking to do it,
Yeah.
but it is doable. I think especially as a student. I mean, I worked 4 jobs while I was in undergrad, or not undergrad, grad school, excuse me. And
Mm-hmm.
so it is doable to
Oh,
do. You just have
Audrey.
to make the time. Oh, golly. Listen, I know that out of state tuition will
Oh,
just
Hey,
right,
get you.
exactly.
whittle
Yeah.
away at it.
But
Oh
yes,
gosh.
but
Well, you'll
yeah.
maybe one day you'll be a female Cliff.
There
Right.
you
Sorry,
go. Go
Cliff.
girl. Go girl. We're
We
coming
need
for you,
a
Cliff.
He is
female
good.
version of you.
He is good. Yes, yes, he is good. Yes.
Yes, he is
But
So
good.
yeah,
funny.
And he's worked hard at it too, you know. He really has
he
Yeah.
put a lot
has.
of effort and
Yeah,
time, and
he
he's made a huge
has.
difference
Yeah,
in
he
how
has.
people
Yeah,
think about us. So he's done a great
yeah,
job.
Well, I think he'd say
yeah,
the same thing of
yeah,
you just got to start. You just
Yeah,
have to
just got to
start
start.
yeah,
and then you kind of
Yeah,
evolve and
yeah,
learn.
yeah,
You're not an
yeah. At the
expert
end of the
at your
day,
first video.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask
yeah,
you the next question. How did
absolutely.
showing up
Yeah,
online, for you, how is it beneficial for you, but also how about for others too?
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I had no idea the impact my Instagram would have. Truthfully, but I decided to be my true, authentic, raw self. And I remember there was one day during grad school, it was like peak second year, it was really hard year for our program, just lots of ABR, OEs, like lots of those classes built in together. And I was so stressed, and I was just having this like intense wave of imposter syndrome, which is very
Mm-hmm.
much still a thing. I still get it. I think you're always going to have a little
I
bit of
still get
that.
it,
Yeah.
Audrey.
Yeah, we
I
all
Yeah.
still get
yeah.
it.
So, yeah.
Just
So
brush
I
it
was
off.
having it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. I was crying all evening. I apologize. There's an ambulance going past me here. That's good. Um, I was crying like that whole evening. I was just like, I can't do this. There's no way. Like, I'm not going to make it through this. And I'm not one to like post for attention, likes, or any of that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I post for myself, to look back on in 10 years and just think
Yeah.
about how I thought that was the worst day of my life. And that I have had plenty of worse days since
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
time, right? But I posted a picture of me on my Instagram story, raw in emotion. I was post crying, like the eyes were swollen, face is red. I have rosacea, so my face is always red, but like add an extra level on top of it. But I posted that picture and I just, said like this is how it is some days. Like this
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. And the amount of other students, professionals, and friends who messaged me or like DM'd my post
Mm-hmm.
and was like, "Thank you so much for posting this
Mm-hmm.
because I have felt the same way and I feel like it's not valid." But it is. It
Mm-hmm.
is. And
Yeah.
like, if I'm remembered for one thing, it was always my willingness to make people feel seen and heard.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
That's why
I
you and I get along
knowing that
good.
Yeah,
we're,
me too. I feel like
yeah,
that's why we get
yeah,
along.
That's the three.
We're
Yeah,
yeah,
for
playful.
sure.
yeah. Like that at the end of the day, like is the biggest thing for
Mm-hmm.
me. So if I can post on there that I'm having a rough day, but you are also having a rough day and it
Mm-hmm.
made you feel better, then it makes me feel better because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not alone in it either. And so that was like a good thing. So that's kind of how I've taken that, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, really
been
nice
beneficial
watching.
for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Another sense of connection.
Yeah.
yes,
So,
absolutely.
so let's ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What a loaded question that we all love.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this and I was like, man, I'm gonna be 31. Good.
Uh-huh.
Seems really
That's a
daunting.
kid.
Right.
I
Mhm.
know, I know. I was like,
Old,
okay, but
old.
I know it's gonna come quick. I
Uh-huh.
feel old already. Like I have a bad sciatic nerve. Like
Yeah,
my
it does.
back hurts. Like I'm like,
Uh-huh. It's coming.
31. That's gonna be, yeah. But I really, at the end of the day, I just hope that I'm still learning,
Hmm.
and like being the best audiologist I can be. I want that
Hmm.
to be there for my patients, but also like for colleagues, for my friends and family. Throughout my time in graduate school, I've met and worked with so many amazing audiologists, and I am like forever grateful because
Hmm.
every single one of them has left some kind of long lasting impact on
Hmm.
me. And I wouldn't be half the person I am today without any of their support.
Hmm.
And so I would say I'd hope to be half the person and half the professional that they are,
Hmm.
because they each contributed to my success. Like I would not be here today if it wasn't
Hmm.
for all of the people that I've made connections with
Hmm.
and worked with.
Hmm.
So for
Takes a
me,
village, right?
Yeah.
it
It is
does.
true.
And
That
so
is
for
the
me,
truth.
that's the biggest
Yeah.
Hmm.
piece that I just hope that I can be that for somebody else. But also knowing that I have those mentors to kind of lean on is
Hmm.
really good too. So
Yeah, I like that.
And I
All
feel
right.
like I feel like the first 5 years of your career are a little bit like, I don't know what I want to do or who I want to be. I just
yeah,
want a job.
Exactly. I
I
just
just
want
want
to
to
get
make
yeah,
some
by.
money.
I
I just
want to
want to
make
feel
some
like I know what
money,
I'm
and
Yeah.
doing.
I
But
have to start paying my student loans. So like
Uh,
just,
yeah.
like
I know.
get me through that. Yeah,
But I
yeah.
feel like the first
So
5 years are fun too, because you kind of then get your
yeah,
footing by like year five
yeah,
and feel like, okay, I
yeah,
know what I want to be and who I want to be. And
exactly.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
You're always can change your mind. That's like
Right.
Lindsay
yeah,
And then
changed
by
her
year 10,
mind
you
absolutely,
can
and
change your
done
mind
different
again.
things. And
Yeah.
absolutely,
yeah.
100%.
Okay,
All
let's
right.
do
Rapid
rapid
fire
fire.
time. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Go
What's
ahead,
one
Noel.
word that describes you and why?
So I had to ask my besties about this because I
Ooh.
just couldn't think of a word. Yeah. They said bubbly or
Oh,
joyful.
Oh,
Those
good. I
were
was going to say
the
okay.
two, but
enthusiastic
I
is
thought
what
they
I
were
was thinking.
similar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
they were similar. And so I always, I'm always going out of my way to ensure everyone around me feels supported, loved, and ensure that I love what I'm doing. And I do. I love who
Hmm.
I am and the work that I'm doing.
Hmm.
Even on my hardest days, I still show up and ensure my
Hmm.
patients and friends feel heard. So I
Hmm.
think that's the biggest piece there.
Love that. If you could master any new skill overnight, what would it be?
Being able to communicate with anyone who speaks any
Oh, yeah.
language.
Oh,
Like,
maybe
Yeah.
I
one day with
that
the
would be,
Captify glasses,
Like
I
Bad
know.
Bunny.
I'm
I would
excited.
love to
Yes,
communicate with Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
yes. I would love to communicate with literally
Anyone.
anybody.
Yeah, I would love
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, I love
yeah.
that.
To make our lives easier. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
All right, where do you see her in healthcare 10 years from now?
Hopefully people will start coming in earlier. I know we're seeing that a little bit now, but and just receiving treatment sooner for hearing loss. I'm just hoping it becomes more accepted and like there's more out there to say how it contributes to healthy aging, right? Because we know that there's so much research now about cognitive decline and social isolation. Like, I just hope that that gets out there more and more people start coming in sooner. So,
Mm-hmm. What's a coffee order that gets you through your day?
I'm a tried and true iced vanilla latte or iced vanilla
Ooh,
coffee with
there you
almond
go.
milk, and vanilla sweet cream cold foam on the top.
Mm,
That's,
there
I'm a
you
sweet gal, so
Very
it's got to
sweet,
be
girl.
sweet. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. What's a sound that makes you happy?
Opening a can of Sprite.
Oh,
Something
it has to
go.
about
be
a
Sprite.
crisp. Oh yeah, I'm a Sprite only gal. So opening it's just a crisp
Oh, that's
Sprite. Just
funny.
the sound of
It's
it
funny.
is
That would be good
brings
for
so
one of
much
their
joy.
commercials.
Not the
Yes,
beach,
yes.
not a baby laughing, not a family voice.
Open a
Sprite.
can
I
of
like
Sprite.
it. I like it.
Yep, yep.
If money was not a concern, what would you be doing?
Honestly, I don't know. I love working. I've been
Hmm.
working since I was 14, and I think I probably would go stir crazy if I was not doing something purposeful,
Yeah.
like audiology. But if
Hmm.
I had to say, I would love to travel, even though I'm an anxious flyer, and volunteer in some way
Yeah.
everywhere I go. I always want to learn about new cultures, and I'm never shy about talking to someone that I don't know, which is probably bad. Don't talk to strangers, little ones, if there's any little ones. But
It's a good trait.
I, I do. Yeah, talk
Hmm.
to somebody different. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What is one thing our profession could do better for patients or each other?
I think the biggest thing that we could do is to ensure we're providing the absolute best care for our patients. Yes, best practices and diligence, but truly caring for the patient as a whole, I think is the biggest thing that I
Mm.
hope that we can do for patients. And then observing, yeah, just observing and understanding the whole person in front of you. I'm always a proponent of treating others the way you would want them to treat you.
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, we're all human and we all deserve care and support from each other. And I think that goes both ways for patients and for providers as well,
Hmm.
colleagues. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Which B fits you best? Be kind, be brave, be curious, or be happy?
be kind. I always strive to be kind to myself and others because you
Hmm.
never know what the
Never
life
know.
someone else is living. So, showing kindness is one thing, but being kind takes a deeper, more meaningful thought and
Hmm.
care. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Love
what
Love.
that.
I'd be.
Well,
Yeah.
wonderful. So before we close out today, I want to present our Be Curious segment.
Mhm.
And I was having a conversation with Scott O'Leary about his mentor, Audiology Mentors. Is it audiologymentors.com?
Yep.
We were just
Audiologymentors.com.
talking about how we can support each other in the two ventures, that we're having with this. And we were talking about how he told me that students can get mentorship for free. And I
Hmm.
did not know that. So we
I
wanted to
didn't
highlight
either.
that since this is kind of a student-focused show, we thought it would be good to highlight that you can go to audiologymentors.com and contact Scott, and you can sign up as a student to get some free mentorship. How awesome is that?
And the
So,
mentors on there are fabulous. And
oh
there's
my
so
gosh,
many
they're
options.
amazing.
I think any
Oh yeah,
student could find a connection with somebody. And so, yes,
yes,
get on there and
Absolutely.
yes. And then
just have a
also just for
One
the
conversation.
step to
general.
start.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Hmm.
for general audiologists too,
Right.
Yep.
he's got a whole host of wonderful mentors. So if you're feeling burned
Yeah.
out, need some extra help, check that out.
Hmm.
It also has some
Yeah.
great posts and just, very uplifting. So,
Hmm.
all right. So in
Yeah.
closing, Audrey, want to thank you so much for being on the show today and sharing your
Thank you.
journey and encouraging
Yeah.
students who are stepping into this profession. We love
Yes.
seeing future audiologists show up with curiosity, courage, and heart. And to everyone who's listening, who's still in school or getting ready to graduate, you don't have to have it all figured out. You're never going to have it all figured out, but
Yeah.
get involved and raise your hand, build connections, and
Hmm.
don't be afraid to share your story. We
Yes.
all, as seasoned audiologists, we love and support younger audiologists.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
So to
I'm
all the
appreciative.
seasoned, yeah, to
Hmm.
all the
Yeah.
seasoned audiologists, keep mentoring and
Hmm.
making
Yeah.
space at the table for new ideas and new students. And if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow Audrey, and she's going to
Hmm.
step up her Instagram
She's
game
gonna be
again.
posting more. Come on,
Yes.
girl.
Yep, keep up
Yes.
with her journey. And
Yes. On to odd.
don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the Sound Sisters, the Hearing Diaries, with someone who could use a little inspiration. And until next time, be kind, be brave, be curious, and be bold. And thanks for watching the Sound Sisters. We'll see you next time.